My name is David Baylor. This is the summative assessment video for the LUT-1 course at Western Governors University. Our elected representatives are lying to us. Hundreds of thousands of dollars have been spent by the elected leaders of the city and village of Pewaukee to convince the residents that the consolidation of the two communities is a money-saving proposal. However, the proposed consolidation of the city and village of Pewaukee, Wisconsin will have a long-term adverse tax impact on the city of Pewaukee residents. In this presentation, I'm going to show you, one, why there is a difference in tax rates currently between the city and the village, and two, why the consolidation will pose additional costs on the current city residents and not the current village residents. This chart shows you the tax levy, equalized value, and mill rate for the city and village of Pewaukee. As you can see, the city, which has a tax levy of $6.9 million, and the tax levy is how much the budget is for that municipality, divided by an equalized value of $2.8 billion. The equalized value is simply the value of all the properties in the municipality. Gives them a mill rate of 2.46. In other words, $2.46 per $1,000 of assessed value. The village of Pewaukee, however, has a budget of only $4.2 million, which is in line with their population, and an equalized value of only $1 billion. This is almost a third of the value of the city. Because their equalized value is so low, their mill rate is dramatically higher at $4.19 per $1,000 of value. If the city and village were simply to merge into a single community, the mill rate would jump to $2.91 of equalized value. The problem comes that in order to merge the city and the village, 2/3 of the residents of both municipalities must vote in favor of this. Under this condition, none of the city residents that have been polled are willing to accept a tax increase that dramatic, even though the village residents obviously would want that. Under the state of Wisconsin law, everyone must have a single tax rate in a combined municipality. The city and village leadership have decided that in order to get the city residents to vote for this merger, they need a mill rate that is unchanged. And unfortunately, what would be needed of a $9.4 million budget is impossible to achieve under the current structures. Normally, when residents of two municipalities merge, the two high-value items, which is the school system and the library system, when merged into a single system each, gives you a huge monetary savings. The city and village of Pewaukee already share a joint library and a joint school. That means if they cannot come up with $1.7 million in additional savings each year in the budget, there will be an adverse tax impact on the city residents immediately, and therefore the merger will probably fail. Since they have yet to come up with $1.7 million, they've decided to rely on what is more or less an accounting trick. They have three possible options. The first is to have the state legislature pass a law which gives a 12-year grace period for two different tax rates in a municipality. In other words, they would combine the two, and both sides would continue to pay the current tax rates for 12 years under the new law. The second option they have is the village of Pewaukee has a very large reserve fund for their water systems. And the thought is that they would use that reserve fund to pay their portion of the taxes for about a 12-year period also. The third possible option is a special taxing district on the streets of the village, which has a much higher maintenance cost than the cities because it is much older and much narrower. The equipment needed to maintain these roads is very specialized. All three of these have a major issue. At the end of about a 12-year period, the state law would once again kick in, requiring the same tax rate between both municipalities. At that point, there would be no option but to jack the taxes of the city of residents up to a combined mill rate value, and that number has yet to be presented to the city residents. And the fact that this would happen within 12 years under the best scenario also has not been presented to the residents. We believe that this information must be presented in order to get an accurate vote from the residents of the city of Pewaukee. Do I have any questions?
What happens after 12 years if the state of Wisconsin allows non-equalized taxes for 12 years?
Okay, as I just pointed out, what will happen is the city and the village would immediately, the combined community would immediately have to have a single tax rate, which under this scenario would be $2.91. In other words, there would be a 45 cents per thousand value tax rate increase immediately for the city residents. Under Wisconsin state law, this could not be stopped by a legislature or by a community vote. The only way to change this would be to extend that vote again, and so far that hasn't happened in Wisconsin's history. Any other questions?
Can the merger be reversed if a court challenge changes the tax equalization solution that is used to comply with state law?
Unfortunately, the only way to unmerge a municipality is the same way as you merge it. In other words, you need to divide the community up into two sections and have both of those sections vote in favor of that unconsolidation. A 2/3 vote would be required, and if you consider that the current village residents would be voting basically on almost doubling their taxes, there's practically no way that you will get a vote to have that happen. Thank you very much.